Great, Don. What a sight for sore eyes. How you doing? What are you doing here?
I'm doing fantastic. I heard there was a little anchor opening here at OwlSports. Figured it was Addison's because logically he's better suited as a producer. You know,
Whoa! My hand-picked ITN reporter bashing me in front of my eyes. I know you got your big anchor gig on Thursday, but this is Brian and I's show.
Oh wow, that's my bad. All right.
It is Tuesday.
Court's in session.
Oh me, oh my, you know what time it is. Court's in session, and we are back. We hope you enjoyed your spring break. Brian Steinmetz here. Addison Hunsaker, I know you enjoyed your spring break, and you're absolutely thrilled about the change of the month.
That's right, Brian. This is March. Here we go. This is the best time of year. College basketball 24/7. Before the men's and women's NCAA tournaments start, we have jam-packed weeks of conference tournaments, and we'll start off with the women's AAC tournament up in Connecticut. The month of February did not treat Tanya Cardozo's team well. At one point, the Owls were 4-1 in conference play, positioning themselves at the top of the AAC. But in February, Temple went 2-5 and ended the regular season below 500 and landing the 8th seed entering the conference tournament. The Owls took care of business in the first round against ECU, winning 67-57 to move on to the quarterfinals. Here's the problem in the women's AAC tournament. The more you win, the sooner you face the inevitable, a matchup against the UConn Huskies.
Yeah, no surprise here. UConn's been rolling, and one of those games was against the Owls, who officially ended any chance the Owls had at a tournament bid. Except for a couple of upsets, things have pretty much fallen into what people expected up in Connecticut.
Since the formation of the current American Athletic Conference, UConn is 118-0. Good news for the rest of the conference, UConn is heading back to the Big East next season. There will be a new champion and a new host for the conference tournament next year. Despite agreeing to leave the American for the Big East last June, the women's AAC tournament was still held up in Connecticut. Not that the results would have been any different, but still a sign of disrespect to the rest of the programs. Now, Brian, with the women's season under wrap, who's your MVP from this season?
Yeah, my MVP for this season was Ashley Jones. She shot 41% from the field, which was second best behind Mia Davis, and she shot the best three-point percentage on the team with 33.6%. She led the team in assists, was second in steals, and was second in points per game behind Mia Davis with 16. What about you?
I got to go Mia Davis. She averaged a double-double, 18.8 points and 10.4 rebounds per game. Here's a fun stat for you. She had 18 double-doubles this year. Temple's record when she recorded a double-double, 11 and 17.
Who's your water there?
What about your player to watch for next season?
Player to watch, you just named her, Mia Davis. She already took a big jump this season. I'm excited to see what she adds next season. She's the leader of this team, and she'll certainly be a driving force looking to take the AAC crown next season with UConn being out of it.
I got to go with Marissa Mackin. She improved across the board from her freshman season and helped fill the guard void that was left following Aaliyah Butts' graduation with Ashley Jones. She scored 4 more points per game and shot a higher percentage from the field and from three. Her continued improvement will be key for Temple next season to take advantage of UConn's absence. Next season, the Owls returned 4 of their 5 primary starters, including the trio of Mia Davis, Ashley Jones, and Marissa Mackins. The Owls were able to improve their overall win total by 5 games this season with a roster that gained more experience and a core that continued to gel. The American will be open next season without UConn, and with a continued improvement in the offseason, Tanya Cardozo's team could just put itself in position to go dancing.
Switching to the men's team now, the team wrapped up their regular season last week, and now we're looking at a first-round tournament matchup with SMU. But first, let's see how Senior Day played out for the Owls. This was the last time these seniors will be suiting up as Owls at the Liacouras Center. Damian Moore, he got the start for this one. He had 9 points and 10 rebounds. Alani Moore finished the regular season as the Owls' best free throw shooter at 86% and second best three-point shooter with 39%. He also played the most minutes and averaged the most points in his full-year career this season. Quentin Rose, what more can you say about this man's accomplishments here at Temple? He's absolutely done it all for this program. Unfortunately, though, the Owls lost on Senior Day 61-51 to Tulsa. So it's SMU Thursday, and if all goes well, then it's Houston on Friday. 2 Texas teams in the first 2 rounds of the men's tournament.
Our focus is SMU because at this point, if we don't get past SMU, then the season is over.
The team that comes out, throws the first punch is usually the team that wins. So, I mean, we just got to come out with great energy, throw the first punch, and sustain it the whole game. I think the coaches have done a good job, like just stressing the importance of this and keeping everybody together, keeping guys believing that we can make a run and we can win 4 games in 4 days.
Yeah, we got to go out there and play our hearts out. It could be our last game, so we got to leave everything on the floor every game. Get on a 1-game winning streak every single game. So we got to go out there, try to throw the first punch like Q said, and just go out there and enjoy the game.
So with the AAC tournament kicking off this weekend down in Texas, Addison and I thought we would put our picks to the test here on the video wall and give you our picks for the tournament. Addison, who do you got first round?
I got all chalk in the first round. UCF over USF, UConn over Tulane, SMU over Temple, and Memphis over ECU. Now Memphis is an interesting team here because they're still kind of floating on that bubble, and the seeding actually sets up for them nicely to kind of make a run and make a case for the NCAA tournament should they not win the AAC. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. I have USF actually over UCF. I like this matchup a lot because the two games they played this season, they were very close rivals, obviously in Florida, and it's going to be a really good game. I have UConn over Tulane, Temple over SMU because it's March. It's going to get a little mad, hopefully.
Yeah, Temple win. Okay.
Temple could win. You know,
Okay.
It's courts in the session after all.
Okay.
Let's not get mistaken here.
Okay.
And I have Memphis over ECU. A lot of things falling into form in your bracket. A couple upsets in mine. Second round, who do you have?
Cincinnati, number 1 seed. They're going to win. They're still on the bubble as well. And the interesting matchup I have in the second round is Wichita State versus UConn. Now, if you were to look ahead, Wichita State, Cincinnati could be a play-in game for the NCAA tournament because they're both kind of floating on the bubble here. We could live in a world where only one AAC team makes it. If Houston runs the distance and things don't really go the way for Cincinnati, Wichita State, Tulsa, and Memphis in the AAC tournament. Yeah. But I got UConn upsetting Wichita State. UConn, hottest team in the AAC right now. 5-game winning streak. Wichita State 8-7 in their last 15 AAC matchups. I like the hot team. You got to be hot in March to win.
Absolutely.
UConn's hot. Wichita State isn't. I like UConn to win that one, and then I got Houston and Memphis winning the respective matchups in the quarterfinals.
Now in the championship, I have Houston over Cincinnati. I'm assuming you have the same.
I do. I have Houston over Cincinnati. See, here's the thing about winning in March. You got to have a good coach, solid guard play. Houston has been the most consistent AAC team all year.
Long.
And if you had to pick one team to kind of win consecutive games in a row in a conference tournament setting, Houston is the only team that you can really bank on in the AAC.
Now, as we've gone down the stretch in the AAC, a lot of these teams kind of faltered towards the end of the season. They didn't pick up the wins they needed to get. A lot of the teams are still in the bubble. What are you expecting for AAC teams in the big tournament?
I think it's going to be Houston and Cincinnati. I think the problem with the bubble right now is there's so much chaos and so much has to go the way of Wichita State. We just had a bid stealer in the Mountain West, Utah State upsetting San Diego State in the conference tournament. If there's a lot of bid stealers next week in conference tournament play, you're going to see a lot of AAC teams kind of falter out, and I think that's going to be the case. I think you're only going to see Houston and Cincinnati. Cincinnati's safe if they make the championship game. If they don't, then they'll be in trouble.
Absolutely.
We will actually have boots on the ground in Texas. Our producer, Kevin Rice, and All Access Pass anchor, Dan Buzz Wilson, will be in Texas for coverage next week. We'll be back, and we'll have a bracket. This is March. We sleep in May.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have on this edition of Courts in Session. Be sure to follow the men's tournament play out later this weekend. And, of course, be sure to check in this Thursday to TUTV at noon for a new episode of OwlSports Update with Adam Cronally and Ray Dunn, sitting in for JJ Myhowski, who will also be in Texas with the Temple Band. For Addison Hunsicker, I am Brian Steinmetz. We'll see you next Wednesday.